Keto and crime, keto and crime. We uncover the grime on keto and crime. Keto and crime, keto and crime. Now is the time for keto and crime.
Hey everyone, welcome to Keto and Crime, and today we have the long-awaited reaction to Zulema Pasnene's interview with Chandler Police in April of 2021, just after they actually reopened the murder of Charles Vallow, or as a murder investigation. So, as anticipated, I have here a drink that may or may not contain 𝐲𝐿 number 12. Just saying. So let's see how if I can actually watch this with an adult beverage and have a desired reaction for you. So with that being said, if you'd like to support the channel, those links are down below. Membership, Patreon, PayPal, all that helps. And let's get into it. Let's have some fun. Zulema's interview. Here we go.
Things are going here. I may just step out.
Okay,
And,
no big deal.
Yeah.
Oh, are you tired of meeting with us yet? That's okay. Be honest.
It's not about being tired about meeting with you guys. It's kind of like I think of it in my mind. It's like an aquarium, and when you go your hand on the bottom, and then all of a sudden all this stuff comes up. So it's the stuff that comes up.
That's a good analogy. Yeah,
Yes. Brings up all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Her mind is like a fishbowl, y'all. A fishbowl.
And memories and and connections and things that could help.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And then you just like start beating yourself up because how could I ever done anything like this or get involved with people like this, and how could I be received so much, and how could I be so stupid?
Well, don't beat yourself up.
All that comes up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the hard part of it.
And hopefully this is the last time that we have to talk. But
I call her in 7 or 8 more times.
we just needed to go
Just
over
for the hell of it.
more things, just some clarifying questions, since we've been doing the investigation that have kind of come up again.
Okay.
Okay? Do you need water or anything, or are you good?
I'm okay.
Okay.
No, she's got an aquarium on her shoulder. She's fine.
You remember Vince?
I hope so. Fremont County.
Fremont
That
County?
was a nice one.
I do.
So, how's everything been going? You getting back to normal life and back on track and...
Trying to, once in a while something comes up, or, some reporter comes up, or,
Or you get a call from Garrett saying, hey, these guys want to talk to you.
Yeah, or like, usually it's reporters that are reaching out to people to get information about me, because, I haven't talked to the media. So they're always trying to get some kind of info.
They're still trying, huh? Okay, Zulema, so like I said, we're down here just to ask a couple more questions. One second.
Just when we were getting going good, y'all.
You
Dang.
gotta go, you gotta go. Yeah. You prepare for it and boom.
From Zulema's
So,
fishbowl to
what I
his
was
bladder.
saying, when we were walking in, we left, I think it was 51, 52 in Idaho, and came here.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
this is
It's awesome.
we're doing a remodel on our house, and it's it's opened up to the elements quite a bit, and we started it.
They're awfully chummy with her. I figure they're just trying to make her feel at ease, you know, hoping that maybe she'll say something she wouldn't say under normal circumstances. I don't know, but they're awfully chummy. I'm going to fast forward a little bit until Dude is back. Let's go.
Kind of why you told them something completely different. Okay? So when I was discussing last time with you, about...
Was this the day that Alex died? Is that what you're talking about?
The day Alex died.
Okay.
So do you remember anything that you told those guys as far as Lori and Chad? Or...
Very, very little. I don't remember much of what happened now. To tell you the truth, there is a part of, like, between, like, 2 weeks there, that there isn't much, like, it's very foggy for me. But that night specifically, there are certain things that I remember, but not all of it. And I don't remember, like, I can't put a timeline together. Like, I don't know what happened first and what happened next. I don't know which one was first and which one. I can't have nailed to.
We've also never seen what, statements she's purported to have made, so it's,
Well, I can let you look at a copy, but, so, when Gilbert Police, let me just preface this. We're just trying to eliminate some of the things maybe defense for Lori and Chad are going to bring up during trial. Okay. And part of that defense could be that they try to pin this on other people, right?
Very interesting they should tell her that. It's almost as if they're trying to come up with a way to exonerate Alex and pin it all on Lori and Chad, which obviously I think they were the masterminds, Lori especially. But interesting.
Right? So, or make you not look as credible as what you are in case you have to testify.
Mm-hmm.
So, in order for us to make you look credible and to use what you say in court, we want to kind of jump out ahead of any type of defense that they're going to bring up.
She's got to be an important witness for them to be giving her all this prep, literally. I would imagine that most of their case probably hinges on what she has to say. Just a guess.
And try to make it look like you are lying or trying to get back at them or something like that. So going over these reports, that's kind of what we are doing to make sure that everything that you told us kind of matches what has happened, right? And so when we were going over Gilbert's reports, there's some things in there that you said that you told us about when you last talked to Chad and Lori, and about when you, well, I'll just come out and ask you. You told Gilbert that you had no idea how to get a hold of Lori and Chad when they asked you who Alex was on the phone with. Can you tell me why you told him that?
Because she lies. Zulema is making you out to be a turkey. Detectives. She lied. She lied to cover her own hide. That should be, like, you ever read a Dr. Seuss book about Zulema? She lied to cover her own hide. You betcha Clyde.
I wonder why I would have said something like that, because I told them that they were on the phone with him.
Right, and they asked you how to get a hold of him. And in your statement, you said you had only met Lori a couple of times before she moved. And you hadn't seen Lori since she moved a few months ago, and you didn't think Lori was married.
Yeah.
Oh, that is such horse hockey. you know good and well she knew that Lori was married or getting married to Chad because she was married to his brother at one time. She was counseling Jason Mao. You can't tell me that she didn't know.
I remember saying that.
Well, let's look at those statements.
Yeah.
And when I say look at them, just look at them carefully there for a second. You didn't think Lori was married, right? Did you know she was married at that point?
Yeah, I did know that
Okay.
she was married.
Okay.
Yeah, because she had sent me pictures of when she had gotten
So she
married.
lied.
So yeah, I did know that.
And
I mean,
do you-
I didn't. Let me put it this way: I saw the pictures of them on the beach, her dressed in white, him dressed in white, and they were dancing and kissing and all
Right.
of
Seen
that.
those. We've seen all the pictures, yeah.
Right.
In all honesty, that could have been some, cult ceremony, but knowing these two, and her, but she knew they were married. End of story. She lied to Gilbert police originally about knowing they were married.
So I assumed, it was assumed that that was a wedding ceremony.
When you told him, what else did she say in that statement that she hadn't talked to him in a while? What was that statement about?
That you had only met Lori a few times.
Well, obviously that's inconsistent with what she's told you guys.
That you hadn't seen her since you moved a few months ago. And that you didn't think Lori was married.
What's the timing on hadn't seen her since she left a few months ago? Is there any explanation of that? Was there any timeline on that? Was there any clarification of what that
we
meant?
know Zulema had gone up there.
Right.
So she's saying that since she moved.
I wonder if she's talking about since they moved to Idaho or to Hawaii. That's what I'm wondering about. She hadn't seen him since they moved to Hawaii.
That could be.
It'd be nice if you'd let her answer the question. Just saying.
That's what I'm trying to find out.
That could be, but she said that she didn't know what state Lori and Chad lived in. So those are the type of things that defense is.
They lived in a state of delusion. That's what they lived in. And Idaho.
Is really going to probably ask you.
Yeah. So I didn't when they left Rexburg.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't tell anybody where they were going. Not even even Alex was trying to find out where they were at, and he had asked them where they were at, and they wouldn't disclose where they were at. They didn't. So
you had no idea they were in Hawaii?
No.
What about the times you guys conference called?
When we were talking on the phone, they wouldn't say where they were at. So when they left from Rexburg, they didn't disclose where they were at. How I found out that they were there is when they were on the news.
Because there's some. So back in the reports, I don't know if I have that with me. They had talked to you and Melanie Boudreau about going to Hawaii after they were married. Is that not true?
Melanie Palawowski. I literally have never heard her referred to as Melanie Boudreau. That threw me for a loop. Wow.
This was when I can't remember when he was. I remember them saying that. So hold on, let me see if I can put a timeline on that.
Our timeline that we have has that roughly in November.
I've literally never heard someone say so many words, but actually say so little. Talk so much and say so little. That's a better way to put it. This is infuriating. I would literally probably come across that table and choke her. So I'm probably good that I'm not in law enforcement, but just saying that she's talking a lot, but saying very little.
And then they go missing in December, November 26th.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had some conference calls with him the first week or the first week of December.
Mm-hmm.
You and Alex and Melanie Boudreau.
Mm-hmm.
And Ian was on the phone. And so I'm wondering, based on all that, and then
Yeah,
the
this one.
statements to Gilbert.
So she says, this could be you, come to Hawaii. And
What
this
day
was,
was that?
that was on November 9th. This was
Okay.
was the day that they sent this,
The pictures.
the pictures.
Uh-huh.
And
Who
that,
sent that to you, Chad or Lori?
I think this was Lori's.
Okay.
So you said in December you didn't know they were in Hawaii, but you had a picture from Lori's talking about Hawaii in November? Turkey, turkey, turkey.
And she sent it to me and Alex.
Do you have that number?
Yes. Where is it? I just lost it. There it is. Okay. This one.
Those phones can be a
I
pain.
don't know what I'm doing.
Why don't you like put a spell on it and it'll like just, speak the number. Why don't you do that?
I don't know if I find the number there. It might be right there.
Maybe.
No.
It should be there. 2 participants. Okay, so that one was from 480-692-9562. And I remember this, I responded to her with a scripture. Because they were still trying to convince me to move.
To be clear, they didn't tell you they were living there yet, right? I mean,
No.
this was them for a wedding. They came back after this, right?
They came back after this.
And then it was long around Thanksgiving that they vanished.
Right before
And
Thanksgiving.
is that when you didn't know where they went?
That's when I didn't know where they went, yes.
So when you say come to Hawaii, it wasn't, hey, we're living here, come move to Hawaii with us.
But I believe they had conversations saying that after they got married, they were moving to Hawaii.
Okay. With Zulema?
And Melanie Boudreau.
Okay. No, I don't know about Melanie, but
And so that's why I was wondering, when it comes to the Gilbert reports, you say you have no idea where they're at or how to get a hold of Lori, or you've only met Lori a couple times. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Where there's a discrepancy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Because she lied. She's a liar. She has said what she wanted to hear to get her qualified immunity, and she's a liar.
that's why we want to talk about that, and I wanted to know why you had told Gilbert police that you kind of really didn't know Lori or where she was at.
and before I don't want you answering something about.
It's the same with Lori and Melanie Gibb. I find it so interesting that these people were so into their beliefs, preaching them, podcasts, writing books, doing all this stuff about their beliefs, and then suddenly, when the shit gets real, they don't remember each other, they don't know each other, they never believed any of that. It's just amazing how knowing something about a crime can make you forget everything you've built your life on. Don't you think that's strange?
Having potentially misled Gilbert Police Department until I hear the statement. I think what she's told you guys is the truth.
Right.
And that's what the agreement was, is that she was going to come in and tell you guys the truth. So there's a discrepancy between the two.
I also think it's interesting. She has an attorney in there with her, but none of the others did. I think that's very weird. I'm assuming he's an attorney. So, of course, maybe that's why she has immunity and the others really don't. Just saying.
Clearly.
Right, and that's why we're trying to get out in front of it just before trial.
Right, sure.
We just want to figure out if you in fact did make that statement, And if you did, why you made that statement?
Do you remember making that statement? Okay.
I don't remember. I remember going to the hospital. I remember them putting me in a ambulance, and they took Alex in another ambulance. And I remember them taking us to the hospital. And I remember they started working with him, and then they put me in a room. And I don't remember much of what happened between that and until the time that they brought me back to the room for me to turn off the machines for him. I don't remember when I was taken back there. I don't remember whether someone was, the person that came to talk to me, was it before or after that? I don't remember, and I can't put it together. I can't not put it together.
Okay.
I don't even remember the name of the person that was there. I don't even remember what he looks like. So if I was to see him right now, I wouldn't even recognize him. I have no.
Convenient. Convenient. Now, I'm not saying it wasn't traumatic to have your husband die, like, not saying that at all. But knowing what I know about these people, it's just interesting that they have selective memory.
Yeah, there's nothing right there. Then I remember when I turned off the machines, they told me, I remember somebody came saying that I couldn't touch him anymore, that he was considered a crime scene, and that I needed to leave. I asked for a couple of minutes with him. They gave me, like, I don't know how long, but they gave me a few moments with him. And I remember coming out of the room, and my son-in-law came, and I remember him saying to somebody who was there, we're gonna get a lawyer right now, so speak to our lawyer. And then I remember leaving. But I don't remember when that happened. You know what I mean? There's no correlation there for me. None of it.
I'm gonna time right now, because I'm gonna make that call.
Okay.
Let me do that, and then I'll come back in as soon as I can. You guys feel free to chat about anything other than this, and I'll be right back, because I'm just gonna, we're gonna do that, and I'll be right back, okay?
Lawyer.
Have you been to Rexburg or Idaho since?
No.
It's getting to be nice up there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Last time I was there was
Now
cold.
that Chad and Lori are in
it's
jail,
cold,
it's a
like-
real nice
It was
place.
cold for me anyways.
It seems like it's cold for 8 months out of the year, but
Yeah.
now's the time where it starts to get nice and warm, and it's not hot like here, but I take the heat.
I would take the heat any day.
Yeah.
So I always run 2-3 degrees colder than everybody else. And you think that they won't make that big of a difference, but it really does.
Well,
Should I comment on the fact that that makes her a cold-hearted? Hmm?
I'm not sure anybody that lives down here owns a jacket, do they?
We do, because after
Oh, no, the desert gets really cold. I know from my wife and I being on the road back when I was doing traveling comedy before COVID, we stayed several weeks in Arizona and New Mexico. It gets very cold on the high desert. Very cold.
you're here for a while, they call it your blood thins out, and it really does. So you become kind of a wimp, because as soon as it gets to 70, you're like, oh, it's so cold now, you know? And so when and besides the fact that my own temperature is lower than most people, then I'm always cold. So I have a sweater with me most of the year.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Even in the summer months?
Mm-hmm, in the summer months,
my
because
God.
when I go inside of if I'm working inside of like a grocery store or
The air conditioning.
anywhere, the air conditioning is too cold for me, so I put the sweater while I am inside the store, and then I take my sweater when I leave the store.
So does every house down here have air conditioning?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine living down here without it.
Yeah, there are some.
Okay, I'm going to fast forward a little bit to the lawyer's back. Hang tight. He's gone a hell of a long time. No wonder this thing's almost 2 hours long. Anyway, he's back.
we saw a lot of Randy Johnson jerseys still.
Yeah. Well, he was a freak.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a freak. In the very best sense of the term. This big,
Everybody connected with this case is a freak.
tall guy that had a lefty throw. I mean, oh my word. That slider he had, ugly.
Yeah, we had a good time last night.
That's fun. What'd you eat?
Hot dog,
And
Chicken
chicken
dog?
wings, yeah.
Good? Fun?
That's good.
Where were your seats? Where were you?
135.
I don't know where that is, man.
Right
Third
down,
base, right
third
third
base,
base, left
right down
area.
there.
Okay, gonna fast forward a little bit more.
Out because I started using. I'm like, I wonder if these are good headphones. And I started using them.
Did you take anything else out of it?
It's possible. I wasn't paying attention, to tell you the truth.
Selective memory
I
again.
was supposed to be looking for something.
No, I'm wondering, because we had reports there was some other things in there.
Yeah,
And
like what?
like, there was a gun associated with the bag of money.
Oh, okay. That's what you're asking for. You're asking for the guns, but the guns were in separate bags, not in the same bag of not in the bag of money. The bag of money was it's like a black duffel bag type thing with a zipper.
Okay.
And then there's the guns that he left. They have their own case, and they have, it's like a case, like a gun case, and then the gun goes in one thing, and then it has the clips, and
So just so I understand, the gun case was with the
next,
bag of money,
next.
but not inside the bag.
I don't think so. No.
And just so I'm clear, the bag of money was in a Ziploc bag inside of another bag.
Yes.
And the gun was not inside the bag with the money,
It's
nor
not-
was it inside the bag that the money was in. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, it has its own.
Okay. Yeah.
Its own
Separate. Okay.
separate
Thank you, Mr. Attorney, for finishing her sentence.
bag with a zipper that goes around like that. So when you open it like a book.
Okay, so in the duffel bag that the money was in, what else was in the duffel bag? Let me ask you this, was there a phone in the duffel bag?
Yeah, I think that's where they found a phone, because they took it. They took a phone.
Who? The
The
police?
Gilbert police took a phone that was in there, because it's in the inventory that they left. When they take things, they give you an inventory of what they take or whatever.
Mhm.
That there was they said that there was a phone. It's possible that they found it in there, but I don't know where they found it, to tell you the truth. But they said that they did take that phone.
Take a phone?
A phone.
Okay.
Mhm.
You don't know where they got it from?
No.
Okay.
It's possible that was in there, yeah.
It could have been in Alex's pocket. The phone they got.
Well, Alex didn't have any
Maybe that guy's not a lawyer, but he's being very lawyerly toward her. Can somebody let me know down below?
clothes on when so
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
flip about it. Maybe it could have been somewhere else.
it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't remember anything else? Did you ever go through the bag before your kids did?
No.
Happens to me. Did you ask him, like, why would anything ever happen to you? Was that an odd statement that he had made?
I did. I said, don't say things like that, Alex. I said, why would you say something like that? And then he said, just in case. Just in case. That's why the reason why I in my back of my mind, I was thinking, did he do something to himself? Why was he saying that?
I find it really strange that somebody that you know is involved in some creepy religious beliefs gives you a duffel bag and says, hang on to this in case something happens to me. I would be tempted to look in it and not wait for the police. You knew what was in that bag.
2 days before he passed.
So he tells you about the bag and says, if anything ever happens to me, there's some money in the bag. It's not much, but there's some money in the bag. And that was 2 days before.
Yeah, either the day before or either the day before he passed or the day prior to that. So the last 2 days that he was alive.
Okay. And then, so when you had that, let's go back to the conversation that you had with Alex when Tammy's body is being exhumed. Do you remember that conversation where you said you had confronted him and said, Alex, are you going to have anything to do with this? Why would you think that he may have something to do with it?
Because he was the hitman,
So-
and she knew it.
Lori and Chad had called that day, and they were the ones that told us that they were exhuming her body, and the way they were talking, they weren't really saying anything like, "Oh, we're worried" or anything like that.
Pot calling the kettle black there.
It was more of like a feeling that I had that was like, this is really weird. Like, shouldn't they be like having this kind of reaction type of thing? You know, not like so nonchalantly, oh, they're exhuming her body today type of thing. And I was like, why are they so not nonchalantly about it? Like, are they hiding something? Did they do something? Did it not do something? And so that's why I wanted to. I knew that if I asked Lori and Chad about anything, they probably wouldn't say anything. But I thought that if they had been doing something, he had done anything, Alex would probably tell me. So that's why I pressured him. I'm like, would you have anything to do with this? Like, if they assume this body, and are they gonna find anything? Did you have anything to do with this? And he said no. But I mean, I don't know if that was true or not.
I mean, if you think about it, if he was the one that shot at her with the paintball gun, then he missed her. She wasn't hurt. And then if it was, Chad that poisoned her or asphyxiated her or whatever happened to her that night, and I think the coroner did say it was asphyxiation, then no, technically Alex didn't have anything to do with her actually being dead because his attempt failed. Just say it.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay. And the reason I ask is because, let's say, if my wife gets a call and they say one of her friends is being exhumed, that wouldn't be a question I would ask my wife is, did you have anything to do with this? That wouldn't even cross my mind. Do you know what I mean? It would be more like, hey, we're telling you it's getting exhumed.
Right.
Information-wise, this is what's
Smart
going on.
call.
So that's why I wanted you to maybe expand a little bit on maybe why you thought or suspected Chad and Lori may have done something to Tammy, or that maybe Alex had known about something or had done something.
So remember that they were saying that Tammy had become a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yep.
And they
Viola. She was Viola.
were talking. I don't know who was saying who, because they always like, oh, I was told. Lori would say, I was told, and then Chad would say very little, and then it was kind of communicated through her. So it's kind of hard to tell who the information was coming from. But they were saying that Tammy was supposed to die on her trip to Utah. She was supposed to have he had seen it in a vision that she was going to die in a car accident in the way there, or something was going to happen that she was going to pass away.
Okay.
And then when she didn't she didn't pass away, then what
That's when he decided to set her up and kill her himself.
they were saying was that she actually did pass away, but what happened was that she was taken over by an evil spirit, and then they were, that she had become a zombie. Okay?
Very convenient. If you've seen my video on the Harold Camping 2010 End of the World, that's the exact argument he used when the rapture did not happen on May 21st, 2010. He said that instead of a real physical rapture, it was a spiritual rapture. But it happened. Same thing here. She didn't actually die. She just became a zombie named Viola.
So, in the back of my mind, here I am thinking, okay, they said the same thing about Charles, right? And then Charles ended up being shot, right? And I'm thinking, okay, you guys are not trying to say that you guys are going to do something physically to people who are, who are turning into zombies according to them. That was my thought.
So, refresh my memory again, what was Alex's response to your question to him?
So he sat back and on the in the back and pressed his back towards the back of the bed, the headboard, and he goes, "No, that's it. There's no answer after that. Nothing else." And I was waiting for him to say something else, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, "Are you going to say anything else?" And he's like, "No." Like, okay. So I thought when he seemed so sure of his answer, I was like, well, okay, well then he didn't have anything to do with this.
Okay. And is that the same conversation that's the same conversation you kind of got after, right? And we're pretty, maybe forceful is not the right word, but aggressive towards him as far as, tell me what's going on.
Yeah, because that was when because right after he, so then I pressed for another answer, and he tells me no, right? So then so then I stand up and I start walking away because I'm like, I don't know what to think at this point. And that's when he said, "I think I am being their fall guy." And I'm like, the fall guy for what? What is it? Tell me. What is it that they're trying to pin on you? What did they do? And he just wouldn't say anything else. And so then I get frustrated again.
So maybe that's why Alex had to go. He confided in her a little too much, and either she told them or they just figured it out.
Because he's not answering my questions, so I turn around and I'm going to walk away again, because I'm just so frustrated that he's not saying anything. And that's when he tells me, either I am a man of God or I am not.
Okay.
Now, at the time, because I turned around and I said, "What does that mean? What does that mean, Alex? Tell me, what does that mean? It's like you can't just tell me these things and not say anything to me." And I was so frustrated with him, so mad, really, because he wasn't saying anything else to me. And that, I guilt it. I thought for sure that I had probably given him a heart attack because I was, kind of pouncing on him, Now putting it all back, and now I understand that, they were probably telling him through blessings to do certain things, and he in his mind was either I'm following what God is telling me or I am not.
Did you have a question about that?
No.
I thought I saw you written something down. Okay. So after he had said that, I think I'm going to be the fall guy.
I think I'm going to be
Their fall guy. Did you you think that Chad and Lori had done something to Tammy? Was that your impression based on that statement?
I didn't know what to think at the time.
Oh, come on.
I didn't know what to think. It was so confusing for me at the time because I saw at the time I still saw Lori and Chad as a very spiritual, kind, loving, charming, law-abiding, God-fearing people.
But yet people became zombies. It's like two different worlds there. I don't understand how. Ugh.
So there was no, to me, it would be like, you know what I mean? So even when he was when he said that, I was like, the fall guy for what? Like, what was it? What is going on? You know what I mean? And like, I couldn't even process it or put two and two together. What is it? So what was it that they would do?
Okay.
I mean, these things didn't even come together for me until like months and months and months of me thinking and processing and putting things together. You know what I mean? Because to tell you the truth, until they found the remains of the children, I still thought that there was a possibility that they had them hiding somewhere. That the kids
Hiding from what? Hiding from what? The grandparents? I can't even imagine why anybody would think that Charles Vallow's sister and her husband were a threat and they would need to hide the children. And the fact that his JJ's service dog up and disappeared probably would have been killed or sold if the organization hadn't come and got him, and they just up and disappeared. But they're in hiding. I don't get that at all. We'll never get that out. You and Melanie Gibb could believe those stories. I think you know more than you're saying. I think you at least had a suspicion, just like Gibb did, and you didn't bother to call anybody and let people know, hey, some people might be in danger here. And as a result, if either you or Gibb had called the police a week or so earlier, Mike could have at least saved Tammy Daybell, if no one else.
were going to be alive.
That's what we all hoped too.
I really believe that they would, that they had them hiding somewhere. I believed them. I really did. That's what they were saying, that they were keeping them safe.
So on these conference calls with you and Chad and Lori, and then there was Melanie and Ian, you guys talk about a code word to make sure it's safe to talk. Do you remember talking about that with them?
Yeah, because remember I told you that the day that Alex and I were going to Vegas, that day when I got back from the spa, he wasn't in the house. And so then I called him and I said, hey, where are you at? And he's like, oh, I'm in the walkway, the green field behind the house with Gibb and Melly. So he's like, just come out back here and meet us back here. So when I got to where they were at, that's what they were talking about. They were making a code word to say, this is safe to talk, this is not safe to talk.
Do you remember what the words were?
So it was
It's like safe words for insanity.
pretty bird, and the other one was not happy Bob.
Not happy Bob.
So which one meant it was okay to talk? Pretty Bird?
I think it's the opposite. I think that Pretty Bird was not.
Okay.
And then, not Happy Bob meant it was okay.
Not Happy Bob. Meant it was okay.
It's like they were living in their own like espionage fantasy until it got too real. The more I dive into this case, and I've been in it, it's just.
Okay. So, whose phone number did you call because they would call you from Ian's phone. Whose phone number would you call to conference everybody through?
I think they had so many numbers. I don't remember.
Yeah, they did have a lot. And that's kind of what we're trying to figure out is whose phone you were calling to conference everybody in together. Because every time they would call you, and then you would do the calling.
I think so. Or I think sometimes we will call and they will call back. And sometimes they will call, they will answer, and then three-way the other person. I think it was a couple of times it was Chad's phone, and then I think a couple of times it was the Lori's new phone number, or the last phone number known that we knew anyways.
Okay.
I think it was both of them. Off the top of my head, I couldn't remember which one it was.
Okay.
And I don't think that my phone records would go back that far.
Okay.
They probably do. The numbers do.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit and see if we can get to something a little more interesting here. Hang tight.
Okay.
So on Zulema, on a couple of those recordings, you referred to Chad as Raphael. Is that what you called him normally, or did you normally call him Chad?
I would call him Chad.
Chad.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you call him? Sometimes you just call him Raphael, because on one of those you say, "Let me call Raphael's calling through." Is that just sometimes you would call him that, or
Yeah, I feel
during
sometimes.
certain times? Or?
I think that Alex used to call him Raphael a lot. So if I was saying something like that, it's probably because Alex was with me, because he would call him that.
Gotcha.
So
Well, you still had it in your phone. That's good. The number.
yeah, I mean, I don't have that particular number in my text or in my phone, but I remember him asking me for that number, and I remember me saying, Raphael just reached out to me and he has a new number.
Oh, nice. And that was on the 5th of December?
On the 4th.
Oh, the 4th.
And
Okay.
then Alex asked me for it.
I really do pity these guys having to keep track of all her machinations.
On the 5th.
Gotcha.
And then,
Okay, just gonna fast forward a little bit further.
Since then.
no.
So that was the one time he offered to give him a sub.
When we would get together, sometimes he would come and he would put his fingers on my neck and he would say, "What is it with you people, translated people that have such big, stressful shoulders," or something like that. He would say that, but I wasn't the only one that was receiving it. He would do it to everybody else, just kind of like relax the neck. And then when we got back from Vegas and we were at my house, sometimes in the mornings I have a really hard time waking up, and then in the mornings I would like turn my alarm off and just sit there trying to like get up. And I remember he would like rub his finger like up and down my back and go, "You can get up, you can wake up," kind of thing, like kind of waking me up, and not a massage like he did that day.
So when you woke up from that massage, did you feel like you were way too groggy than you should have been?
I was
Or
super.
did you-
I thought, I'm like, oh my goodness, he's like, must be a really good, massage therapist, because I am so relaxed right now. Like I am, like so relaxed. Like I felt like, like when you get out of like the sauna. When you get out of the sauna, you're like so relaxed, you could actually take a nap. That's what I felt.
So you didn't feel out of it?
No,
It was just relaxed.
very relaxed. Yeah, like super. That what was really weird though was that in and out that I had when I was laying on the bed, because I could hear him talking and I was trying to wake up, but I kept going back down, and then I kept hearing him again talking, and I couldn't discern what he was saying. I could just hear him talking, and he was in the bathroom talking.
Does he kind of talk to himself much?
Well, not really. Not like that. Like he was actually having a conversation. Like he sounded like he was having a conversation.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when I talk to myself, I'm always like, say one thing or two things or
Maybe I'll
something.
go to McDonald's for lunch.
Yeah, something like that. But no, I
that's
think
because Wendy's, you have this.
he was having a conversation. So it, now of course putting all this together and processing after, over a year, I keep thinking that he was actually on the phone with somebody when this was happening. There was no way that he was going to necessitate a big old drop cloth for that bed to give me a massage.
When you guys got married or prior to get married, did you guys talk about insurance or life insurance or did you add them to anything?
So it sounds as like they're laying out the narrative that Alex was kind of so we all know he was kind of an enforcer, but also was kind of put up as a scapegoat by Lori and Chad. Very interesting.
Did he add you to anything?
Not that I know of. I know a couple people have asked me that too. But I wasn't the one that I wouldn't have had any knowledge of that.
Well, I think we'll end it there. This is by far one of the most wordy that I've seen. It's interesting to hear her take on stuff, and I've learned stuff that I didn't know, that she had suspected Alex was being set up, that he had suspected he was being set up. If she's telling the truth, that's always the great unknown in these interviews. But anyway, I'm sure it'll all be revealed in the trial, which I am anxious to dive into. So I'll be back real soon with another video, and until next time, keep on crime.